turn it over. We got another form after this, so let's dive right in. We've explained the format to the candidates. If you were in the room for the first form, you understand how we do it. So they will start with opening statements, and the luck of the draw fell to Mark Hermes in the House District 19 race, so that's where it will begin. Each one of you gets 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then we'll get to the questions. So Mark, if you want to go first.
Yes, good evening. My name is Mark Hermes. I'm running for House District 19 in Ozone Park. The district boundaries are Metcalf in the east to the state line, and then 103rd Street north to 83rd gives you an idea where we're at. I want to thank Johnson County Post and Fort Tile and everyone who made this forum possible. I grew up in a small rural community west of Wichita. I worked and went to K-State. I worked some more, then I went to KU. I'm educated in business, computer science, and journalism. 35-year resident of District 19. I got politically involved when my son was born in 2006. I write legislation for children and families and assist in political campaigns. I want to use my business experience and education to represent the residents of our district. I believe that to make Kansas better and move forward, that we need a change in leadership. And I ask for your vote to hire me to represent you in Topeka. Thank you.
Thank you, and Marco, we just ask you maybe you move the microphone a little bit closer to you for your next answer. For those of you who are not in the room for the first form, these microphones are plugged into our live stream. They're not plugged into any internal speakers, so if you're not hearing anything over your head, it's not you, it's us. The next opening statement will now go to House District 20. We'll return to House District 19 for Stephanie Clayton, but move down the line to House District 20 and Jerry Charlton. Give you a chance to give your opening statement.
My thanks to the Johnson County Post for hosting this forum. Good evening, I'm Jerry Charlton, Republican candidate for the Kansas House of Representatives, District 20. I'm a small business owner, a licensed professional engineer. I'm approaching the twilight of a wonderful career that has taken me across our country and across the globe. I began my career as a bridge engineer. I was part of the design team that designed the College Boulevard Bridge over Tomahawk Creek in the heart of the 20th District. I oversaw the design and construction of the first two-step spiral pipe mill that was commissioned in the United States, located in Hancock County, Mississippi. I managed $14 million of community development block grant funds granted to our project as a part of the guarantee of 300 jobs. We created 330 jobs. That was following jobs being turned into the area following Katrina. I spent nearly half my career in the energy industry. My latest project, I'm the design build contractor for the focal point of the Merriam Station project just up the road. I'm the designer of the 4-story solar panel. I bring nearly 35 years of providing solutions to the public and private clients. I will bring this experience to the Kansas legislature.
Thank you. We'll stay in House District 20 and go down to the end of the table with Mary Lynn Poskin. Your opening statement.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Lynn Poskin, the high energy champion for District 20 values. I want to thank the Post and the Merriam Library for hosting this forum tonight. I also want to recognize and thank my husband, David Poskin, and my daughter, the youngest of our 7 children, for being here tonight. You know, when education advocates asked me to run, my husband's immediate response was, "This is your true calling." And after serving the district for 4 years, I can say he was absolutely right. It's my joy, honor, and passion to serve House District 20. I'm a representative who takes care of business. I'm a staunch defender of the attacks on our children's public schools and teachers earning the title voucher killer. I've responsibly cut taxes across the board and supported policies that have led to record economic growth in Kansas. In just 2 terms, my legislative leadership has been recognized at the local level, being unanimously elected Johnson County Delegation Chair, and at the national level, when I was selected as one of 43 Council of State Government Total Fellows last year. I'm a military brat in Kansas by choice, working to keep our outstanding schools, state communities, and vibrant economy as hallmarks of the Sunflower State.
Thank you for those opening statements, and we'll end opening statements back on the other end of the table, back in House District 19 with Stephanie Clayton.
Hello, everyone. I am Representative Stephanie Clayton. I have been a proud representative of House District 19 since my election in 2012. I follow this philosophy and have followed it throughout my 12 years of service, and that is this, that I am grateful for the opportunity to run every 2 years and make sure that I am held accountable to you, my constituents. I see many of you in this room, and I believe that the work should be earned every single time. So I see an election as an opportunity to be accountable. I'm very proud of my record, in particular my ability to work across the aisle. Was very proud to work with our Republican speaker to orchestrate a couple of unanimous tax bills, which was an incredibly heavy lift. I'm also very proud to be a strong supporter of public education. Taxes and public education are what I hear the most about from my constituents. This is a service job, and I take this very seriously, and so it is my job to listen to what you all need and to serve you.
Well, on that note, the first question for all four of you, and we'll start with Jerry Charlton in the House District 20 race. It's a question that we've been starting all State House forums with since we're holding forums for dozens of State House districts. The needs might differ, or you might hear different things from district to district, so I want to ask you what you see as the biggest priority or need from residents in your case, House District 20. We'll start with Jerry. 90 seconds for each of you to respond to this question. Jerry, you start.
Kansas has a $4 billion tax surplus, and taxpayers deserve more relief than we got in the last legislative session. High income taxes are impeding growth and burdening retired citizens on fixed incomes. Young families are fighting inflation. Businesses need more capital to reinvest in jobs and innovation. As your state representative, I will be a better steward of our tax dollars than Ms. Hoskin is. She voted against tax relief repeatedly, and when the governor approved the Republicans' recent tax relief package, she agreed that it was a better choice. I will bring more common sense tax relief to our state.
We'll stay in House District 20 and also give Mary Lynn Hoskin a chance to respond directly to that, but also say what you think is your district's biggest priority or challenge going into 2025 that you hear from residents.
Absolutely. I will start with the fact that I 100% voted for tax relief, $4.2 billion in tax relief for Kansans by eliminating Social Security taxes on benefits and by lowering property taxes and income taxes and doubling the spending child care tax credit. I've been knocking doors, emailing, calling, and hosting town halls extensively with District 20 voters about their state-level concerns for this last 4 years straight. Nearly every conversation centers on these basic issues: supporting our children's outstanding public schools and their teachers, which are constantly being threatened by voucher scams and legislative overreach; supporting fiscally responsible tax cuts like no one wants to go back to Brownback. But Governor Kelly's and Lieutenant Governor Toland's economic and budgeting policies have put us in the position to deliver tax cuts, and I'd like to do more next session. Keeping legislators out of private medical decisions for women and their families. You might ask why this still comes up everywhere when 72% of District 20 voters said no to the August 22 amendment. Let's just say you can trust me on this issue. And finally, they beg, please, please, please enact common sense gun safety legislation.
Coming back to the other end of the table, into House District 19, Stephanie Clayton, the question to you, what do you see as the biggest priority or need from residents in this district, which generally covers parts of Overland Park, Leeward, and a little bit of Prairie Village?
Well, what I have heard from residents, both in emails when they've been contacting me and when I have been knocking on their doors, is by far what they need the most is property tax relief. I was proud to vote repeatedly for property tax relief, and as a member of the tax committee to work with colleagues across the aisle and across the state to find different forms of tax relief that we could support. Sadly, some of those did not make it all the way through the process of government. Most unfortunately, Senate Bill 300, provided a great deal of property tax relief that we really could have used in Johnson County, but sadly the Senate president from Wichita saw fit to ruin that for us. So I look at going back to get a second shot at that. I also hear a great deal about K-12 education funding. That is one of the most important issues in Johnson County. Our education system, our public schools, is our most important economic development tool. And I think that we are able to support the business community accurately by making sure that we keep government stable and keep it reasonable. Our business community and our citizens do not need us enacting wild policies that throw things into disarray. We want a government that is stable and, frankly, almost a little bit boring.
And we're ending this question still in House District 19 with Mark Hermas. So what do you see as the biggest priority or need from residents in your district that you see to represent?
I would agree with most that as a resident for 35 years in District 19 and as a 55-year-old plus, we can see that the property taxes are number one. That's a start. It's just increasing beyond what any fixed income environment can handle. And then the second is all of the expenses that go with that, including Johnson County utilities, all the way through there. The tax system, I think, is Senate Bill 1. Yes, it is a very good start as far as lowering taxes and bringing that back some to the residents. I think it needs to go a lot further. Sales tax usually is one-sided. Any tax that assists everyone, including the rich as well as the poor, is an imbalanced tax. But there are plenty of opportunities in that. Second, of course, is schools. I am a big advocate for education. I love education and gone to many schools. With that K-12, we need a motivation for students. The funding will be there. I support full funding for schools, especially K-12. We got to give them opportunity. That opportunity is a desire to grow. Thank you.
Let's move into some issues, and all four of you mentioned taxes, so let's start there. And the order falls to Mary Lynn Poskin in the District 20 race. Several of you mentioned it, but earlier this summer, lawmakers passed and Kansas Governor Laura Kelly signed into law a tax cut package that slashes roughly $2.4 billion in property and income taxes. That law reduces the state income tax brackets from 3 tiers to 2. It also eliminates the state tax on Social Security benefits, among other things. Still, as you noted in your door knocking, it's also true with the questions we get from readers, taxes, particularly residential property taxes, still one of the most asked about issues. Are there any other tax cuts, tax relief policies you'd like to see the legislature pursue next year? In particular, is there anything the state can or should do regarding local property taxes? This starts with Mary Lynn Poskin. You'll each get 60 seconds for this question.
So let me make a couple things crystal clear. My opponent has published demonstrably false claims on his website, social and walk cards. Not a great strategy in a district with bright, engaged, and well-informed constituents. I brought the receipts, links, QR codes, and all, which will surprise no one who has worked with me a single day in the legislature about these claims. I completely eliminated Kansas income tax on Social Security benefits. I reduced property and income taxes, increased the child dependent credit care tax, axed the food sales tax, and co-sponsored legislation to eliminate sales tax on over-the-counter drugs, diapers, and hygiene products. I voted for $2.4 billion, and I said it wrong in the last session. The question here is, can we do more? And the answer is unequivocally yes. It's imperative to remember that our ending balances are required by state statute to equal 7.5% of our expenditures. We closed the Bank of KDOT when I was the ranking member on Transportation and Public Safety Budget, and we need to take these tax cuts slowly and see what the impact is on, and not put ourselves into a negative and brown back tax.
Yeah, and Jerry, since you were gone, you'll allow a little bit of time to your answer when we get back around you, so you can respond to some of the specific things that Mary Lynn Poskin said as well. But let's go back to House District 19 to keep it going. Stephanie Clayton, this question to you about taxes. Any other tax cuts, tax relief policies you'd like to see the legislature pursue next year? In particular, is there anything the state can or should do regarding local property taxes? 60 seconds.
Well, first I will start with property taxes because, again, that is what I'm hearing the most about from my constituents. And so I think that one of the things that we should do is look at possible changes